After turning 70, many people begin to wonder how much longer they might live and what factors truly influence their remaining years. While no one can predict the future with absolute certainty, science has identified several powerful indicators that can reveal a lot about longevity in older adults. These clues don't just reflect genetics or luck, they stem from lifestyle choices, physical health, and even mental outlook. One of the strongest predictors of lifespan after 70 is physical activity. Numerous studies show that seniors who stay active, even through moderate exercises like walking or gardening, tend to live longer and experience fewer chronic diseases. Regular movement helps maintain muscle strength, balance, and cardiovascular health, all of which contribute to independence and longevity. Cognitive health is another critical clue. Older adults who keep their minds engaged by reading, learning new skills, or socializing tend to preserve brain function longer. Research links cognitive engagement with a reduced risk of dementia and other neurodegenerative conditions, which are strongly associated with shorter life expectancy. Social connections also play a surprisingly powerful role. Loneliness and isolation are now recognized as major health risks, comparable to smoking or obesity. Elderly individuals who maintain strong relationships with friends, family, or community groups show lower rates of depression and chronic illness, and they live significantly longer than those who are socially withdrawn. Diet and nutrition offer another window into longevity. Diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats, like those found in Mediterranean-style eating patterns, are consistently linked with longer lives and lower risks of heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. Malnutrition, even mild, can hasten frailty and illness in later years. Sleep quality often gets overlooked, but is essential for healthy aging. People over 70 who maintain regular sleep patterns and get sufficient rest tend to have stronger immune systems, better cognitive performance, and more stable moods, all linked with longer lifespan. Chronic sleep deprivation, on the other hand, increases inflammation and accelerates age-related decline. Mental outlook can't be ignored either. Optimism and a sense of purpose have measurable effects on longevity. Studies show that seniors with a positive attitude toward aging live years longer on average than those with negative expectations. Having something to look forward to, whether it's time with loved ones, a hobby, or volunteering, can be life-extending. Physical activity and social connection strongly influence longevity after 70, forming two of the most powerful and interlinked pillars of healthy aging. When researchers study the factors that most consistently predict long life after the age of 70, physical movement and meaningful relationships rise to the top across every culture, gender, and socioeconomic background. The science behind this is both physiological and psychological. Our bodies and brains remain living systems that adapt and respond to their environments, and after 70, the habits that keep us engaged physically and socially can make the difference between decline and vitality. The body thrives on movement. Muscles, bones, heart, and even brain cells respond positively to activity. Meanwhile, relationships provide emotional nourishment, purpose, and mental stimulation that keep the brain active and the spirit resilient. For older adults, physical activity doesn't necessarily mean high-intensity workouts or strenuous sports. It refers to consistent, moderate movement that keeps the body engaged and systems functioning efficiently. Walking remains one of the most studied and beneficial forms of exercise in old age. Research shows that walking at least 30 minutes a day can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, lower blood pressure, and help maintain a healthy weight. Even slow-paced walks improve blood circulation, deliver oxygen to tissues, and boost energy levels. Strength training, another important form of physical activity, helps combat sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. Maintaining muscle strength after 70 supports balance, reduces the risk of falls, and preserves independence, which are key to living longer and healthier. Flexibility and balance exercises, such as yoga or Tai Chi, further enhance coordination, joint health, and mental focus, combining physical and cognitive benefits in one routine. Scientific studies have also revealed that the benefits of physical activity extend beyond muscles and bones. Regular movement has profound effects on the immune system, metabolic function, and even gene expression. Exercise reduces chronic inflammation, a silent condition that contributes to heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's disease. By promoting better circulation and oxygen flow, physical activity helps the brain generate new neural connections, a process known as neural. This means that moving the body supports brain health, memory, and problem-solving skills even in advanced age. The link between the body and mind becomes increasingly important after 70 when the risk of cognitive decline begins to rise. Seniors who stay physically active show slower rates of memory loss and are less likely to develop dementia. According to long-term studies from Harvard and Stanford, another crucial aspect of physical activity in later years is its ability to regulate hormones and mood. When older adults engage in exercise, the body releases endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine chemicals associated with happiness, motivation, and reduced stress. Depression is common among the elderly, often triggered by isolation, illness, or loss. But consistent exercise has been proven to act as a natural antidepressant. A brisk walk in fresh air or light stretching in the morning can reset mood and reduce anxiety, helping seniors maintain emotional stability. Beyond the psychological benefits, exercise can improve sleep patterns, another major factor tied to longevity. By reducing insomnia and promoting deeper rest, physical activity indirectly supports recovery, memory, and immune defense. Equally vital is the role of social connection in determining how long and how well people live after 70. Studies have repeatedly shown that loneliness can be as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The lack of social bonds has been linked to higher blood pressure, weaker immune function, and increased mortality rates. The reason is partly biological. Social isolation triggers chronic stress responses in the body, elevating cortisol levels and promoting inflammation. Over time, this physiological stress erodes both mental and physical health. In contrast, people who maintain strong social ties experience lower stress, faster healing, and longer lives. Friendships and family relationships provide emotional security and a sense of belonging. Buffering the negative effects of aging, social engagement is more than just casual conversation. It involves connection, shared experiences, and purpose. When older adults interact regularly with friends, family, or community members, they activate brain circuits related to empathy, memory, and decision-making. These interactions keep cognitive skills sharp and delay mental decline. Activities, such as volunteering, joining clubs, or attending religious or cultural gatherings, provide structured opportunities for a meaningful engagement. The emotional satisfaction derived from these activities translates into measurable physical benefits: lower blood pressure, better heart health, and improved immune response. Scientists believe that social relationships encourage behaviors that support health, such as adhering to medical treatments, eating well, and staying active. Social connection provides psychological resilience. Older adults who feel supported and valued are better equipped to cope with challenges such as illness, grief, or physical limitations. This resilience protects against depression and anxiety, conditions that can severely affect overall health. Emotional support from others reduces feelings of helplessness and motivates individuals to maintain healthier habits. For example, a senior who walks regularly with a friend or attends a fitness class is not only exercising but also strengthening social ties. Doubling the benefits, the combination of physical and social activity creates a reinforcing cycle of well-being. Movement enhances mood and energy, which encourages social interaction, and social interaction, in turn, motivates continued movement. Another dimension of the social factor involves the sense of purpose that relationships bring. After 70, when careers have ended and families have grown, having reasons to stay engaged becomes crucial. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that seniors who have a sense of purpose, whether it's caring for grandchildren, mentoring others, or volunteering, live significantly longer. Purposeful living stimulates mental activity, encourages social participation, and provides emotional fulfillment, all of which extend lifespan. The brain releases dopamine when individuals feel needed or valued, reinforcing positive feelings that contribute to mental and physical vitality. Cultural differences also highlight how physical activity and social connection intertwine to influence longevity. In regions known as blue zones, areas of the world where people live exceptionally long lives, such as Okinawa in Japan and Sardinia in Italy, daily movement and social engagement are natural parts of life. Elders in these communities rarely exercise in the formal sense, but they walk, garden, cook, and interact with neighbors every day. Social gatherings, shared meals, and multi-generational living strengthen emotional ties and provide continuous support systems. These lifestyles show that longevity after 70 doesn't depend on medical interventions alone, but on sustained habits that keep both body and heart active. In modern society, where many elderly individuals face isolation and sedentary lifestyles, these insights have major implications. Encouraging older adults to move more and connect more can be one of the simplest yet most powerful public health strategies. Walking groups, senior fitness programs, and community centers can bridge the gap between physical and social well-being. Even small changes like taking the stairs, stretching daily, or calling a friend accumulate over time, reinforcing the mind-body connection that underpins healthy aging. Physical activity and social bonds do not merely extend life. They enhance its quality by promoting energy, optimism, and independence well into the later years. Mental outlook and cognitive engagement protect against age-related decline, serving as two of the most essential foundations for maintaining vitality and mental sharpness after the age of 70. The way older adults think, perceive, and interact with the world has profound biological and psychological effects. A positive mindset and an active, stimulated brain do not just improve quality of life, they also shape the brain's structure and function in ways that can delay or even prevent many of the cognitive and emotional declines often associated with aging. Researchers in neuroscience and psychology have long observed that those who remain mentally engaged and emotionally resilient tend to live longer, maintain independence, and preserve memory far beyond those who adopt a passive or pessimistic outlook. Cognitive engagement refers to the continual stimulation of the brain through learning, problem-solving, and creativity. After 70, the brain is still capable of growth and adaptation through a process called neuroplasticity, in which new neural connections form in response to mental challenges and experiences. Contrary to older beliefs that the brain becomes fixed or deteriorates with age, modern neuroscience shows that mental exercise keeps neurons active, strengthens synaptic connections, and promotes the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports neuron survival. When seniors read, write, learn a new skill, or engage in mentally stimulating activities such as puzzles, games, or discussions, they are effectively training their brains in the same way that exercise strengthens muscles. This constant engagement helps maintain memory, attention, reasoning, and processing speed, slowing down the natural cognitive decline that can accompany aging. The benefits of cognitive engagement are strongly supported by longitudinal studies. Research from the Mayo Clinic and Harvard Medical School shows that seniors who engage in mentally demanding activities at least a few times a week have a 30 to 50% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Activities like learning a new language, playing a musical instrument, or practicing strategy games activate multiple areas of the brain, forcing neural circuits to adapt and grow stronger. Even reading books or engaging in deep conversation stimulates imagination and reasoning, processes that keep cognitive networks alive. On the other hand, prolonged mental inactivity can lead to cognitive atrophy, where brain regions responsible for memory and attention weaken due to lack of use. Just as muscles waste away when not exercised, so does the brain when deprived of stimulation. Beyond intellectual engagement, emotional outlook plays a powerful role in shaping brain health and overall well-being. Older adults who maintain a positive attitude toward aging, who see themselves as capable and valuable, tend to have better physical and cognitive outcomes. Optimism influences hormonal balance and immune function, reducing chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, both major contributors to People with a hopeful mindset produce lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which is known to damage the hippocampus, the brain region central to memory formation. When seniors cultivate gratitude, purpose, and positivity, their brains remain calmer and more resilient under stress, preserving cognitive clarity for longer periods. Social and emotional factors also intersect with cognitive health in powerful ways. Emotional engagement through relationships, empathy, or shared experiences empathize the brain's reward circuits, promoting the release of dopamine and serotonin. These neurotransmitters are essential for learning, motivation, and mood regulation. Seniors who maintain emotionally fulfilling relationships experience lower rates of depression and cognitive impairment. Isolation and pessimism, in contrast, create conditions that accelerate mental decline. Studies from the University of California and the World Health Organization reveal that chronic loneliness increases the risk of cognitive decline by up to 40%. The human brain evolved to thrive in social environments. When cut off from meaningful interaction, neural pathways tied to language, emotion, and executive function begin to weaken. A growth-oriented mindset believing that learning and improvement are possible at any age is another crucial part of maintaining cognitive health. Many elderly individuals fall into the trap of self-limiting beliefs, thinking that forgetfulness or slowness are inevitable consequences of aging. However, those who challenge this notion and continue setting goals for themselves are more likely to remain mentally agile. Learning new technologies, engaging in creative hobbies, or even taking classes later in life can stimulate intellectual curiosity and enhance cognitive flexibility. The act of mastering something new provides both psychological reward and neurological reinforcement. The sense of accomplishment that follows promotes confidence and encourages continued mental activity, creating a cycle of engagement and growth. Emotional regulation is another aspect of mental outlook that directly affects brain health. Aging often brings loss of loved ones' health or independence, but the way individuals process and respond to these experiences shapes their cognitive and physical well-being. Those who practice mindfulness, acceptance, or adaptive coping strategies exhibit stronger emotional stability and less cognitive deterioration. Mindfulness meditation, for instance, has been shown to increase gray matter density in regions associated with attention and memory, even among older adults. It helps regulate stress and improve focus, protecting neural pathways from damage. Similarly, laughter, gratitude, and social playfulness trigger endorphins and relieve tension, fostering an internal environment that supports brain longevity. Sleep quality and mental engagement are deeply connected, forming a feedback loop that reinforces brain health. When the brain is stimulated during the day through learning and activity, it consolidates memories more efficiently during sleep. At the same time, good sleep allows the brain to clear waste products that accumulate from mental exertion, including beta-amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's disease. Older adults who maintain regular cognitive routines, like reading before bed or reflecting on the day often experience better sleep, which further supports memory and reasoning. The influence of attitude also extends to physical behaviors that affect cognition. A person with an optimistic, engaged mindset is more likely to stay physically active, eat healthily, and follow medical advice. These behaviors, in turn, preserve blood flow to the brain and reduce the risk of conditions like hypertension and diabetes, which can impair cognition. Conversely, negative outlooks often lead to withdrawal, neglect of self-care, and an increased likelihood of sedentary behavior, all of which hasten mental and physical decline. Purpose and meaning, deeply tied to mental outlook, may be among the most powerful protective factors for the brain. Studies conducted by the Rush Memory and Aging Project found that older adults who reported a strong sense of purpose in life were less likely to develop Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, regardless of brain pathology observed after death. Purpose appears to create resilience, an ability for the brain to function effectively even when faced with age-related changes or disease. Having goals, routines, or responsibilities provides a structure that keeps the mind engaged and motivated, sustaining cognitive performance well into later years. Creative expression represents another dimension of cognitive engagement. Activities such as painting, writing, music, or storytelling allow seniors to use imagination and emotion in ways that strengthen neural integration across the brain. Creativity combines memory, sensory experience, and self-reflection, all of which challenge the brain to operate as a cohesive system. Even simple creative practices like journaling or photography can trigger new associations and maintain flexibility in thought patterns. This flexibility helps older adults adapt to change and navigate new situations without excessive stress. Further safeguarding cognitive health, spiritual or reflective practices can also serve as powerful forms of mental engagement. Meditation, prayer, and contemplation not only calm the nervous system, but stimulate areas of the brain involved in empathy, self-awareness, and compassion. These practices lower stress hormones and promote feelings of connectedness and purpose. The elderly who nurture an inner life through spirituality, philosophy, or mindfulness often report lower rates of anxiety and cognitive impairment. The mind's focus on meaning, rather than fear or loss, encourages emotional equilibrium and mental endurance. Cognitive engagement and mental outlook therefore intertwine as mutually reinforcing forces. A stimulated brain supports optimism, while a positive attitude encourages mental exploration. Together, they form the psychological foundation for resilience in aging, protecting against decline and sustaining clarity, motivation, and emotional well-being long after the body begins to slow.